And welcome back, everyone. We're going to Thessia to locate the secret artifact.
Maybe.
At least we're not playing Sakura's Spirit. Because Sakura's Spirit, yeah. For those who don't watch Game Grumps or Steam Train...
It just means it's really low.
It is really low. But we're also messing with your volume knob.
No, I turned it up. That's why.
I have no idea.
We're going to Thessia!
Yes, I mentioned... You jerk.
What are you talking about?
It is not. It is not. It is your homeworld. Doesn't mean that's where you were born, unless that really was where you were born. In which case, I deeply sympathize. But
Well, you can't really sympathize. Oh, you have to bring Liara.
Yeah, we have to bring Liara. So we're just gonna cycle through her appearances.
Oh, did you bring Garrus then?
No, I brought Ashley.
Oh, why would you do that?
I don't know.
Oh no, you did bring Garrus.
No, I didn't.
Oh no.
No, I didn't.
No! Why would you do that? You have to bring Javik.
I know. I wish I should have probably re-recorded this, but
Nah, because it's awesome when you get to the like the end of the mission and he really lays some information down on you.
Heavy information.
Like really heavy information. Like it changes the whole like evolution of the Asari race. Like things.
It doesn't actually change anything in game or anything like that, but hey, whatever.
But it makes. But if you went down to after this mission down to Javik's room, Liara is confronting him about what happened on like the information that they found on Thessia.
Yeah.
And it makes more sense why she's pissed if you bring him with you.
Yeah.
So, because other than that, it just kind of looks like, oh, like how do you know about this? He wasn't there. So
yeah, well. Then
really
again,
good.
he also did feel the Krogan.
So many feels.
So many quantum feels.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're going to Thessia, Asari homeworld and battle zone.
Yep.
So we're not fighting any Cerberus troops. We're fighting just Reapers and
The Reaper troops are the more. I think they're
the most annoying.
Yeah, they are the more annoying ones.
Especially in multiplayer.
Yeah.
In multiplayer, I think the worst ones, other than basically you go Reapers, then Collectors, then Geth, then Cerberus.
Oh, that's right. They did add the Collectors in as enemies now.
What they weren't in the original?
I think for the multiplayer.
In the multiplayer, they're
the original enemies were only Reaper, Cerberus, and I think Geth were the only ones.
Okay.
And then I guess they added the Collectors
with the DLC.
Yeah, because that's the cool thing with the multiplayer is that all the DLC was free. So they just added a ton of weapons and races and classes and all that other fun stuff. So they added a ton of content for multiplayer.
They added the Collectors in as one of the enemies, and honestly, they're second to worst. I think the Reapers are worst because they have stronger...
I found that the multiplayer, the enemies tend to be a lot more powerful.
Oh, yeah.
They tend to be a lot more unforgiving. And I think it's because of the fact that you just die and then you respawn. Like,
yeah.
It's not that critical.
Plus, you also have 3 other people playing with you at most, so...
Yeah. Who varying skill levels, because I did have one map where it was incredibly frustrating because no one knew how to use their character. Like, why would you, as a biotic, be playing as a soldier? Like, the person had an assault rifle.
Yeah.
They didn't use any of their biotic abilities. All they did was just use the gun. Like, how does that make any sense?
It really doesn't, and that's why I played in my multiplayer file. I play only as a soldier because I'm really just running gun. So
in single player you can play however you want, but in multiplayer it's class based.
Right.
You have to play like your class. Like you don't. It's like those people that you see on if anyone plays MMOs, they understand what I'm talking about. Like when you go to raid a dungeon and you bring someone who's a tank. And they don't play as a tank, they play as a support character.
Yeah.
Like, all they do is keep, like, buffing everyone. And you're like, no, that's not you. That's why we brought the druid along, or we brought the shaman, because they are supposed to be doing that stuff.
That is their position. That is their job, not yours.
Exactly.
Your job.
You're supposed to take all the damage. You're the one who's supposed to pull all the aggro. You're the one who's... So everyone else can pick off all the other characters.
Into the fray.
Exactly.
The rest of us are just kind of like little underlings that kind of scurry.
Yeah, and then it just gets frustrating. Single player is a little easier because it's mostly you and you're stuck with whatever the computer gives you.
Right. Now, this episode actually is one long episode that I split into 2. So
Because Thessia is a kind of a long mission.
It is, especially the ending bit.
Yeah. Yeah, because you do get kind of a mini boss fight.
Right. So I try to push through this as fast as possible, but hey, whatever. And yeah, she's like, "Oh no, we're not going to let you do this." But I'm Commander Shepard. Okay, you can do this.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, thanks.
No,
okay.
Because this is one of the things they showed off in one of the trailers about how they're okay, why were you holding a shield if you could have done that from the beginning?
Yeah, and also, what will that actually do against Reaper forces?
I don't know.
Oh, and you can't shoot those things yet.
Not yet.
Unfortunately.
No, if the health bar doesn't appear, they can't be shot.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. I would like to be able to, hit them or something.
That would be cool. What was I saying? I was saying, oh yeah, part of the trailers. I was done with that.
Okay.
That part of one of the trailers they show like how there's the illusion of choice.
Yeah.
That they use the conversation you have with that woman about the different paths you can take to getting past her. And honestly, like in the trailer, it showed, oh yeah, cool. There are like multiple ways to get around here. But then when you actually play the game, no matter what you do, she just lets you walk through.
Yeah. Just kind of stupid.
Yeah, because like you can, because you can be totally like you can be nice to her and she'll be like, oh yeah, we'll give you a transport, but then the transport's gonna be, you still have to walk to it, or you can be rude to her and she'll just be like, fine, you die, we'll stay here, or you can be like kind of neutral about it and she'll just be like, well, best of luck to you.
Yeah.
But you still end up doing the same things. So, like...
It would have been nice if that was a thing, but I guess either they're running low on time and they couldn't refine it properly.
Well, I mean, also, games give you the illusion of choice.
Yeah.
You really actually don't have that much choice in a game. Because,
I know.
Because it's like the old Choose Your Own Adventure books.
Yeah.
Like
You'll ultimately end at the same conclusion.
Exactly. You're given a choice as to how it works getting to that point.
Right.
But the beginning and end points are always the same. And it's ultimately you're not doing something that you have control over. Mm-hmm. You're along for the ride.
Right.
And ultimately it ends up being that they pretend there's a choice, but really
you just basically follow it, but your destination is always the same. It's just how you get there.
It's like in the beginning of like great adventure games when they go, oh, it's like, are you ready to take on this quest? And you say yes or no.
Nope. Oh, we can't really start this until you say yes.
Yeah, like they're just like, oh no, please reconsider. It's one of those things.
We really need you. There is no other hope.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something like that.
Like...
It's like, oh, stop kidding. I know you really want to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, I don't want to. That's why I said no.
Yeah, but if you choose... But it's... I mean, if the only games that really give you any real sense of choice are open world games.
Yeah.
But it's not even in the narrative. It's in the actual in between sections of going from one place to another. Like GTA actually gives you choice.
Yeah.
Because they allow you not only to like choose which missions you want to do in a particular order, but they also allow you to do whatever you want in between that. And that's an actual choice. You can act like the car that you drive, it won't necessarily affect the story, but it's a choice that you make.
Right.
Unlike games like Mass Effect where they try to be like, oh yeah, you can choose how the story unfolds, but really you don't choose how it unfolds. You choose how the next series of events go down.
Yeah, which is kind of upsetting, but
a little bit. But on like it was something I was reading, and that if they really gave you the amount of choice that they promised, games like Mass Effect would have been an enormous game. Yeah, it would have been its own name. It would have been an absolutely massive game that would have taken years, if not a decade or so, to complete.
Yeah.
And it would only get exponentially worse with each sequel. And
yeah, that's also I remember I think it was Rambo for the that's a weird glitch. It was Rambo for the NES, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
If you said no, the game kicked you back to the title screen or something like that. It was one of those NES games that if you said no,
yeah,
it said, okay, game over.
Well, I mean, that's a cool thing, but it still didn't really give you like an actual choice because you had to still play the game.
I know, but it still didn't just say, "Oh, hopefully you reconsider." Blah blah blah. It's like, okay, fine.
Yeah,
the princess is dead. You were the only hope.
Yeah, this reminds me of a great extra credits video that they were talking about the illusion of choice and video
That's
games.
the other one I was saying.
Yeah, and
like.
And it's kind of like you can't like it's the illusion of choice, because ultimately you're following someone else's, story. It's
Right.
not your own, and that's what it boils down to. And I understand that people can be upset that their choices don't really matter. And I like I was too for a while with this game, because like ultimately there were a lot of things that you had no control over. Like, you could have the Rachni Queen die, but then still comes back because they make, like, an artificial one or something.
Right.
And I always like the shot. In movies and in games when they do that whole, like...
static to the ship.
Yeah. Or they do that with guns where they have,
Yeah.
like, they're showing, like, the shooter and, like... I don't know. I always like that kind of shot.
It's not... You don't see it often, so it's pretty nice.
I mean, it's a little more popular now, but I still like it.
Yeah, and so much for these, like, helicopters kind of, like, shooting all these enemies, because there's a bunch left.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
well, one went down, so you can assume the other one probably did, too. But with choice, like, that, I mean, I was upset with like, those sort of things, but then I have to remind myself that I'm not the one who made the story. I'm just being told the story.
Right.
And that's what it ultimately is. You're being told a story. They pretended that you had some sort of choice, but ultimately it's BioWare who's the one that's going, okay, this is how, because the Commander Shepard character,
yeah,
you don't even really get to make him.
Yeah,
he is kind of told to you. You are Commander Shepard.
Yeah,
you don't become
you have some
Commander
basic
Shepard.
choices of what your background is and stuff, but ultimately there is no, like, oh, you've always been this character or whatever. So you really have no choice of, like, okay, I was either born on Earth, born in a colony, or born to space parents.
Yeah, but any choice you make, you still end up going to the military, going on Eden Prime, becoming, the
hero,
and no matter what you choose. And, like, they made there's no illusion of that there are no false, claims of it being like, oh yeah, you totally made this whole Commander Shepard character. But, like, no, BioWare made him or her, and they're just telling you, this is you. That's what role-playing games are. And, like, I don't know, I mean, like, if you play any type of, like, Dungeons and Dragons game or anything of that sort of variety, you don't create your character. A lot of times you're told who you're supposed to be. At least sometimes. There are other times you get to create your own character, but you're still told who you're supposed to be, and you fit within a certain, like...
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what game you actually get to, like, build your character.
Yeah.
Like, from the ground up. I think the best one is Sims.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because you get to choose their personality and stuff like that, and although your character starts out as an adult, you can still influence, like, you can make children.
Yeah, I think the
the
only type of games that bypass that sort of rule are any simulation games, because it's more about it's less about you fulfilling a role and just it's a simulation. It's faking what's real.
Right. Yeah, and one of the big things with BioWare games, even though they are the biggest ones that give you the illusions, it's like, yeah, you can be good or evil, but that doesn't, like we said, it doesn't influence your background or your history or how you got to where you are, so. You could have been this most stellar character, and then once you started controlling it, it's like, hey, I'm an asshole now.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's weird. Also, this is the part I was talking about if you bring Javik, because if you notice, the statues look a lot like how Javik looks like.
Yeah.
Looks like Protheans. Don't they?
Yeah.
So think about all this. And he really goes into, because then she gets all pissed off at him saying that, yeah, we the Protheans, like,
did
cultured
this.
you.
Yeah.
We took an interest in you, which is why they have a lot of similar abilities to the Protheans. They have biotic abilities naturally because the Protheans went in and were like, you're the ones with the most potential. We are going to make you a galactic civilization to join our ranks.
And that's also generally why they left the beacon on the home world instead of, you know, other cultures. Like Earth, they in the Sol system they put it on Mars.
And this is Shepard having a
heart to heart with the statue.
And this is the only time they reference the whole beacon thing that he had back in the first game. You know, like, that's another thing that I was totally expecting there to be, like, this sort of, like, pseudo-spiritual storyline with that, and then it never happens.
Yeah, Mass Effect 2 just kind of was like, what beacon?
Yeah, like, they never talk about it.
And then here, it's like 2/3 through the way through the game, it's like, there's a beacon here. What? How do you know? I just know. But, you know, it's like, yeah, this is the first time they mentioned it since Mass Effect 1. And Mass Effect 1 really heavily, you know, said, hey, beacon, Shepard, 1-to-1.
Yeah, like, they totally took a lot of time. It became a huge plot point. And then they don't talk about it for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Same thing with Shepard being a cyborg. They talked about it a little bit in the second one when he's brought back to life, and then just kind of like falls flat, and it doesn't become anything.
Right.
You know, like, it just, I don't know. I personally think it would have been a lot better if they spoke about these things.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, either way, we're going to be doing finding more of these hidden connections in the next episode, and we'll do our more story stuff. So we will see you guys in the next one. See ya.
Bye.